Last night, something big shook the NFL world. The Las Vegas Raiders have officially locked in their trusted left tackle, Kolton Miller, on a massive deal. This move is no small update. It's a clear sign that the Raiders are building their future around Miller. At 29 years old, he's entering the peak of his career. And if you've been watching closely over the past 3 seasons, you've seen his transformation. Despite battling injuries, Miller ended last season playing like an elite-level tackle, dominant, consistent, and straight-up essential. NFL insider Jeremy Fowler was the first to break the news. The Raiders and Miller have agreed to a 3-year, $66 million contract, with $42.5 million guaranteed. This extension cements Kolton Miller as not just the longest-tenured Raider, but as a core building block for the new regime. And honestly, it's about time. Kolton Miller deserved to be one of the first players this franchise secured. Let's rewind the clock for a moment. When Kolton Miller quietly held out during camp just for a few days, it sent a subtle but serious message to the Raiders front office: it's time to talk business. And they listened. It's no coincidence that Jeremy Fowler had the inside track. He broke the initial holdout news and was first on the contract extension. Clearly, his sources are deep within Miller's camp. But beyond the reporting, let's talk facts. Kolton Miller isn't just good, he's elite. In a league where 64 tackles start every Sunday, many of them barely holding their spot, Miller has separated himself from the crowd. While some positions feel replaceable, Miller plays like one of the top 10, maybe even top 6 tackles in the entire NFL. Think about it. Outside of dominant names like Lane Johnson, Penei Sewell, and Tristan Wirfs, there aren't many tackles you'd confidently rank above Miller. Some might argue for Spencer Brown or Christian Darrisaw, but truthfully, Miller belongs in that same top-tier conversation. And here's the kicker. At $22 million per year, this deal doesn't just lock down a cornerstone, it's a bargain. Spread out over the next 4 years, his average salary ranks him around 11th to 13th among NFL tackles. For a player of his caliber, that's straight-up smart business by the Raiders. This isn't just a contract, it's a commitment to excellence in the trenches. When you compare Kolton Miller's deal to others around the league, it becomes crystal clear the Raiders just pulled off a major win. Let's break it down. Players like Jordan Mailata, one of the NFL's better left tackles, signed a $22 million contract 2 years ago. That was a solid deal at the time, but now, with salaries climbing fast, it's Miller's contract that looks like a masterstroke. Now think about this. Rashawn Slater just signed for $28.5 million a year. Tristan Wirfs and Penei Sewell are also in the $28 million range. Trent Williams, he's at $27 million per year, arguably the most overpaid tackle in the league right now. Even Bernhard Raymond just landed a deal worth $25 million annually, and while he's definitely promising, he's not yet on Miller's level. In fact, Raymond might become a Kolton Miller type in a few years, but he's not there today. Here's the key point. Kolton Miller is now the 11th highest paid tackle in the NFL, and that's only going to look better for the Raiders over time. As more young linemen sign expensive new contracts, Miller's $22 million price tag will slowly slip down the rankings. By 2026, he might not even be in the top 15 for salary anymore. But his performance? That's still trending up. This deal doesn't just protect the quarterback. It protects the franchise's future. There's a quiet strategy unfolding in Las Vegas, and it's one that could shape the Raiders into a serious contender. Rather than dropping massive contracts on just 1 or 2 names, the front office is spreading the value across the roster. When Trayvon Moehrig walked, some raised eyebrows, especially since he reportedly would have cost around $19 million. But here's the twist. For the same price, the Raiders picked up 5 talented defenders, guys like Landon Roberts, Jermaine Pratt, Jeremy Chin, and Eric Stokes. That's how you build championship depth. Think about it. Instead of overspending on one player, the Raiders bet on versatility, chemistry, and scheme fit, and that's smart football. This is especially important when you're building a roster around homegrown stars like Kolton Miller and Maxx Crosby. And speaking of Crosby, when the Raiders gave him his deal, many thought they overpaid. But look at where things stand now. Crosby is dropped to the fourth or fifth highest paid non-QB in the league. That's because the Raiders acted early and locked in their star before the market exploded. This is how winning teams operate. Be aggressive early with the right players. Stay disciplined with contracts. Prioritize fit over flash. With Miller extended and value signings piling up, the Raiders are laying the groundwork for something big. Not just another rebuild, but a real push toward relevance, dominance, and maybe even that long-awaited Super Bowl shot. There's no doubt about it, the foundation of the Raiders is being laid brick by brick, and a lot of credit goes to the leadership making those key decisions behind the scenes. Take Kolton Miller's extension, for example. It's not just about keeping a great left tackle. It's about anchoring the entire offensive line with a player who brings experience, toughness, and reliability. Alongside promising rookie Jackson Powers-Johnson, the left side of this line might just become a fortress. But let's be real, questions remain. The right guard and right tackle positions? Those are still unproven. Sure, the staff has identified who's likely to start, but starting isn't enough. You've got to hold the line, protect the quarterback, and dominate your matchups. That's what separates playoff teams from the rest. And while the future looks stable with Maxx Crosby, Kolton Miller, and even quarterback Geno Smith all locked in for the next 3 years, execution on the field is where it'll all be tested. Word out of camp is telling. Players like Maxx Crosby, Tyree Wilson, and Adam Butler have reportedly been giving the offensive line serious problems in pass protection. And while you want your defense to be aggressive, this also reveals where the O-line still needs to sharpen up. The potential is absolutely there. But potential only matters if it turns into production. With core leaders locked in and a front office that's showing real vision, the Raiders' future is shaping up to be exciting, but the offensive line will be the true test. The Raiders' offensive line? It's been a mixed bag in camp, not a disaster, but not dominating either. The challenge is that it's hard to get a clear read. Are the struggles coming from the starters? Or the backups? Are guys like Caleb Rogers and Jordan Meredith the ones getting beat? Or is it someone like Kolton Miller, Jackson Powers-Johnson, or DJ Glaze facing tough reps? Without knowing exactly who's in during each drill, it's tough to assign blame. But here's what we do know. Las Vegas has invested wisely in the trenches. They've secured Miller. They've drafted Johnson. And if Glaze develops as expected, that's another long-term piece locked in. This isn't just roster building. It's a plan taking shape, and it's one of the most exciting developments in Vegas right now. Of all the position groups heading into the season, the O-line has the highest ceiling and the most eyes watching. And if you followed Kolton Miller's journey, you know how far he's come. His recent extension isn't just a payday, it's a statement. He's a leader now, a cornerstone. There's buzz about whether the team will next lock in Jakobi Meyers, though with recent moves like adding Jack Beck and Dante Thornton, that may take a back seat. Still, the Raiders have cap space left, and don't be surprised if another key player is extended soon. Bottom line, the Raiders aren't guessing. They're building, and they're doing it the right way.